welcome to Would I Do This Again? This is a review fueled by hindsight, where I give you a view on would I do it again? More importantly, should you? So yeah, I'm going to be looking today at P&O cruise around the Caribbean over Christmas and over New Year. Coming back in early January. I did a walkthrough, and I can link that onto the end of this video. I did a walkthrough of the ship recently, and had a bit of fun in the comments on that one. More fun than I had on the holiday. I do kind of want to say this. Because I have had a bad experience doesn't null and void your experience that you had 3 or 4 years ago. My experience doesn't make yours not exist. I only base my views on a particular thing on the time period with which I was actually on the bloody boat. The areas we're going to look at is 1, how looked after did we feel? 2, the food. 3, comfort level. 4, the days, the entertainment, that kind of stuff. 5, value. And 6, would I recommend it? And then finally, would I do it again? Would I do this again? 1, how looked after were you? So the arrival was lovely. Like, the ship was beautiful. I was actually first taken aback about how bloody big it was. I am not a cruiser. I've done 3. I did 1 with TUI, 1 with Celebrity, and this one. I don't consider myself a cruiser. I just consider myself a person who likes new experiences, which is why we booked this one. But I walked up and I saw the ship and I was like, well, yeah, this is massive. And I liked the bigness of it. I liked how when you walked into the central atrium, how vast it was, and the big chandelier, and how it felt different to the likes of TUI, where the different sides of the ship felt a bit more spaced out. It just felt like there's a bit more room to it. They had like a red carpet as well, which was a nice touch, to be fair. And it felt very warm. There was some of the main entertainment staff there welcoming, as you would expect, which was really, really nice. Lots of smiles. And we kind of knew the drill. I mean, the first cruise we went on with TUI, I went with my mum, so she kind of walked us through it. But by this point, we knew the drill. Find your room, you get your cards, get your muster point, watch the video, and then basically, while you're in the haze of jet lag, explore the ship until you fall over and get about 12 hours of sleep and start to feel human again. Like, this ship had a lot of problems, and it's going to be difficult not to talk about those problems in this video. But talking about personal issues, we had basically one, and it was basically my fault. And it was with the shower. Trying to take the shower, and it was like coming out in dribbles. Like, there was no water pressure whatsoever. And I just managed to find the guy, and he came in, and it was one of the settings that the shower's on, and it was fixed immediately, and everybody had a giggle at my expense. Hey. And that led me on to like the person that was actually looking after our cabin. Was really, really friendly. Didn't have many interactions with him, but always, I would say, very personable and very pleasant to talk to, which was really, really good. General staff attitude, and being honest, like, it was one of the worst service experience I've ever had. By the time you get into day 2 and day 3, you're noticing the attitudes of the staff was really, really poor. Seeing people have arguments with the staff, and we've got loads of stories about that. Me personally, like, the first interaction I had was on the what was it? The back bar. It was like the sea view, the bar at the back of the ship. I just asked for a couple of bottles of water, and I've gone over to the guy and asked for them, and he's putting orders out. And I went, oh, that's for me, mate. And he went, stop it, I'm doing my job. And I was like, I'm just asking.
How dare you?
He's like, I'm doing my job. I'm like, I'm just asking.
How dare you?
Just asking. And I was like one of many. So one particular moment like this actually stood out really, really well. That we'd gone to the glass house for a drink. We found a table, and we'd gone past one of the waitresses, and we kind of, no one helped us sit down and find a table. So we just found a table, And obviously, what you hear a lot about is they want to serve you at your table, which is absolutely fine. But after being there for 10 minutes and having no one take his order, I stood up to go to the bar to try and get an order, and was very rudely told to sit down. And I went to say I'm trying to wait for an order, but she just said sit down. So I sat down and waited for another 10 minutes, and still no service. And when I went to stand up, she walked past me, and as I was standing up, she said, "I'll be with you in a minute." We never got that drink. We never got that drink. We also went to the Epicurean restaurant. This is probably one of the other worst ones that stands out. I'm sober and I haven't drunk for nearly 4 years. I think it is 4 years. And the gent was taking the orders for the drinks, and he asked me what I wanted, and I just said, "Can I have a cranberry juice, please?" And he said, "No alcohol?" I went, "No, thank you, I don't drink." And he laughed at me. Oh, come on! He literally sniggered at that. Even my partner was a bit put out by that. She ordered a wine that didn't turn up until we were making a decision whether we wanted dessert or not. We heard as well, about an interesting one while we were on the boat by a couple, that there was a guy enjoying himself and was told to calm down by the staff, and someone came to his rescue. And I'm not condoning this either way, but someone came to his rescue to say, "Look, he's just having a good time, he's on holiday. You might not understand our culture." And they were called racist, which not really that great. So the staff attitude wasn't fantastic. It was probably the worst staff attitude I've ever encountered. And it was quite standout bad. And it was funny, even the long-term P&O people that we were talking to on the ship, of which there was a lot, were all telling us how shocking the service was compared to other times I've even been on that boat. And it was the same thing over and over again. Non-service, wanting to go to the bar, and the general tone of how they spoke to people, quite condescending as well. I found it at times listening quite uncomfortable. So yeah, not the best. I don't think it scores very well in that department at all. Food. I don't want to do it like that. Food. The first reaction to food was on arrival. We went to the buffet, and we got a few bits and pieces. We're obviously in jet lag haze, as you are when you tend to get to Barbados after an 8-hour flight and a 30-minute coach trip. Really hungry. And to be honest, we just went to the buffet to get something to eat, and it tasted really, really good. The quality of the food tasted amazing. I remember having 2 puddings. It was bloody gorgeous. It was a Bakewell tart, one of my favourites. And it tasted really, really good. The issue comes in when you look at consistency. And it's weird because the consistency was good. And I think I said that on the other video as well. It didn't matter what you had. The quality was always decent. It's just the choices which were awful. I would often turn up, especially to the Peninsula restaurant and the... I forgot the name of the other one. It's only like been a couple of weeks ago, but I forgot it. That shows it's forgettable. I'd have the menu, and I wouldn't want anything on there. It's like there wasn't a varied choice. But when it turned up, it was okay. It was all right. It wasn't absolutely dreadful. It's hard not to compare it to things like TUI, where you have amazing choices. And I'm going to caveat this: I don't like TUI.
Are you serious?
But it was a better experience for food. I'm gonna one thing I can't get on board with. I can't get on board with a carvery every lunchtime and every dinner time, and that is what we faced. Carvery at lunch with options of really crap sandwiches and broiled burgers and broiled hot dogs. or a carvery, and then you kind of get other interact, and it's just really, really, really bad choices. By the second week, I was getting, and I'm not lying, I was getting the soft white rolls and the meat from the carvery and having sandwiches. Because it was just so uninspiring. It's probably the worst. It's the worst holiday for food I think I've ever had. Breakfast, like the breakfast time, the coffee is absolutely shocking in the buffet house. And it's the same. I know people go to like the Peninsula restaurant to mix it up, but it is the same food. The same food, the same coffee, it's all the same. It's just packaged in a different way. And I didn't want the extra effort to go to those sit downs to just get the same stuff. And to be honest, get less of it. I ordered a breakfast once and it didn't even fill a plate. It was really, really poor. We ended up having a lot of the broiled burgers because it was just mixed it up a little bit and chips. And I'm quite healthy at home. I think it has been the worst. Epicurean, like they said it was like their signature restaurant. It wasn't standout food. It wasn't, I would say, luxury food. It didn't feel like it was done to a massively high standard. So yeah, it turned into a stress. It turned into a stress of I don't think I want to eat. I just don't think there's anything that I'm going to want. Which is just a shame, really. It's just a real shame. So yeah, didn't score great on that either. Comfort. I'm gonna say one thing. I love the cabins.
What?
That was like quite a standout for me as well. Like the space you got, and it's the first time I've had a balcony as well. But the space you got, the TV setup, and the comfort of the bed was absolutely brilliant. I've never slept as well. Like I've been waking up after 11 hours sleep, like I'm coming out of a coma. It was just unbelievably kind of like the mattress was really soft, pillows were beautiful. The noise from the cabins, it's really well insulated, so you kind of got your own space really where you're not hearing a lot of noise from outside. And even on the balcony you can't really hear much. It's nice and quiet, especially when you're out at sea. And I am more of a person that likes quiet, and other people put in the comments like, oh, you picked a holiday you didn't really enjoy. I've been on cruise ships before, like I know what I like. For me, it's the exploration of which we didn't get any. But yeah, the comfort level in the room was beautiful. Loved the balcony, absolutely loved it. Noise was great. Personal space though outside of the cabin wasn't the best. Now again, we had an issue in the fact that we had 5 days at sea. 5. The other 5, Barbados, while the bloody boat got fixed. So you're forced into a situation where you're not exploring and you are constantly on top of people. Now, it felt like there was too many people on this boat at the top deck. There wasn't enough sun lounge, and people were putting chairs together to make beds. So you're constantly crammed up against people, and there isn't any quiet spaces to go, really. I mean, you can obviously look at my skin tone. I'm not a sun worshipper, but I enjoy laying in the sun. But sometimes I just like to kind of read my book in a bit of shade as well, so I like to have the option to kind of get in and get out of it. But it was a lot. It was a lot where you can't really get that relaxation space on your own, because also like you're watching people argue as well. Argue over beds, nicking beds off each other. Because yeah, it was just quite high stress. So you didn't really get that space. And I'm going to mention again, like the queues at the bars were really poor. Because they didn't know how they wanted you to interact when you go into the bar, it meant the queues ended up growing. It was normal to see 20 to 25 people all lined up in a queue waiting to get a drinks order. So it doesn't score well on comfort either. There's something else I want to mention that is not really in here, and it's regards to the aspects of the ship, and it's something that a lot of people have been complaining about too, and that is that the aircon, and it constantly leaks, and there were people running around with mops to clean up the water that was dribbling into people's food in the buffet. And that's something to watch out for. I felt unwell on this trip a couple of times, and it does make me think about that. I also found hair in the thing too. So, 4. The days. Like, has any of you ever tried to take part or listen to a music quiz? A music quiz that doesn't change every single bit. Same time, same place, same music, same bloody quiz. It just wasn't one. And outside of that, it was like bingo. I'm not knocking bingo. I'm sure there are plenty of people who like to go on cruises. I'm just saying that potentially the options weren't very widespread for a multitude of different people. And again, if we had a normal cruise and we were able to get off the bloody boat, maybe this wouldn't be so bad. But we were trapped on it, and it was all we actually had available to us. Bingo, quizzes, and karaoke. Made me laugh because there was one kind of, on all kind of cruise ships, obviously there's the black tie night. And by the second week, the shine of this trip had really worn off me. So I just put on some smart shorts and a t-shirt. And the looks I got were pretty hilarious. From people who were really coming out to do the full night. And I want to actually point out that on black tie night, where the captain's supposed to come out, because of how he approached the entire trip, he was nowhere to be seen. So it's just a group of people sat around each other, looking quite uncomfortable in tuxedos. And the hilarious thing was, the worst looks came from the people I was walking to some of the bars. And they were doing the same thing. Bingo and pub quizzes. That confined space for that much long, kind of doing the same things with the overly consistent food, just got a little bit much. Even the entertainment, like, I would have liked to mix it up with something different. I'm not going to sit here and reel out loads of ideas. I'm just saying there could have been a bit more to it. Value. This boat had a serious problem.
We do not care.
When we were on. During this 2-week period, we paid for 14-night cruise to the tune of, I think, nearly $7,000. 5 nights at sea, 5 nights in Barbados and Everton. Seen 3 islands, 2 of which there isn't really much there, and the third one in which it rained. Again, P&O can do nothing about it, but we had a lot of bad luck. But when you hear that the issues of the ship were already known, and had been known for weeks and months beforehand, it can kind of stick in your teeth a little bit. But again, you can even then think, well, an unforeseen circumstance, they weren't in control of it, just went wrong. Fair enough. But then when you think about the general attitude from the staff and the attitude from the captain, which was at times pretty appalling.
How dare you?
And then you're having to witness people being chucked off the ship because there was no room. Is that really value for the money that we paid? No. No, really wasn't. I suppose the crux of the question is like the main question to this, which is, would I do this again? Which I'll come to. But I bet everybody can guess what the answer is going to be. Really wasn't worth it. If there was a better response to the customer service on board, it probably would have been worth it in some way. I said a lot. Small decisions could have made this bad situation a hell of a lot worse. Like, one of the ideas was, why didn't they just give us a free internet access so we could get in touch with people and actually entertain ourselves a little bit and mix it up with things like Netflix or whatever? I don't know. They didn't do that. They still wanted you to pay. We were actually in dock at the same time as one of the Princess cruises, and they'd had a missed port. And we'd heard through passing, because again, I know the cruisers, they all talk together on different Facebook groups. I'm not on them. Again, I'm not an out cruiser. I'm really not. The captain of that ship pro-rated money back for that missed port to everybody on that boat. That's not a small decision. That's a pretty big decision. And I'm sure that everyone on that boat felt a lot better. I think a lot of people on our boat would have felt a lot better by just making some of these small amenities available to people, such as the free internet, that doesn't impact anybody else. It's not like you're giving everybody free access to the spa and then no one can get in the spa. Internet access shouldn't really impact everybody else. They could have done that. They could have given everybody a couple of free coffees. They could have done something, and they didn't. They really didn't. We got a letter, remember? We got a letter. The general tone of that letter was, you should be thankful for being in the Caribbean. Even on a cruise, it's gone completely wrong. And when you get into technical wording, the staff were telling us there was a mechanical fault. Now, I've heard, again, through the grapevine, if a cruise liner says there's a mechanical fault, you end up being paid out for compensation. But if they use the word technical fault, it might be anything, it could be a light bulb breaking, they're not liable for anything. What was on that letter? 3 guesses. And there's only 2 options. Technical.
No way.
It wasn't like that. It really wasn't very good. Would I recommend it? No. Why would I recommend that to anybody? I would actively go against recommending it. And the hilarious thing is, again, I'm not a TUI fan, but I would recommend the TUI. 100%. The choices were better. The entertainment was better. It felt a little bit more playing to the different kind of differences within the people attending the cruise, passengers. That's the word. Felt like they were playing more to different groups. This felt very rigid, with just catering to one campus. I will say, there's been 2 groups of people that reach out and talk. One person of which actually knows my partner directly at work, and they were on the 2 weeks after we got off, and they loved it. They had no problems with service. The food was great. They didn't run out of food like we did. They didn't run out of water like you did. They had a lot that they've taken away from enjoying it, and I'm really glad for them. Really, really glad for them. We even said that when people were getting on board, and we hope that they don't have what we have. And it just shows you how much of a difference 2 weeks can make. Because the amount of people that we spoke to have said they will never pay any money to P&O ever again, they'll never go on the ship again. And these are people that have been on this ship for 10 years. I spoke to one couple every year for 10 years, and they're never going to do it again. So it's not just me, but people that have gone on that ship since, directly after us at the time of our. So there is an element that we got unlucky. And that's what I'm trying to be objective here. I can only go on what we experienced, which is not very good. And I wouldn't recommend it based on what I've gone through, what I've heard from people who've had a great time. So maybe we were unlucky. So to the final question, would I do it again? So maybe we're unlucky? 100% I will never do it again. It is scarred me. P&O will never get a penny from me ever again. I will never use them again with how they treat people. It's gone so far as to say I never want to go to the Caribbean again. I never want to see one of those islands again. It is just left so much of bad taste. And the third step onto that was I was wanting to do the Norwegian fjords. And I do not want to do that right now. I want to do other things. The idea of getting on a cruise ship is just not for me. I just never ever want to do this ever again. So anyway, that's my thoughts of what they were. I would love to know what yours are. Comment below. I'm sure there might be some from various people that have also commented on my other video around this. I look forward to reading them. Cheers!